This is episode number 69 of the TEW 2016 challenge run. And we're booking Monday Night Raw. And it's sure to be one heck of a 69 nice show. Kick-off matches. I can change some gimmicks as well. Very good for Cedric. That's going to help him a lot. Same for Bayley and Peyton. Becky improves, as does Billie Kay. And the last kickoff match, tag teams in action. And not much of a gimmick update for Dash Wilder because he stayed average. Show kicks off. AJ Styles comes out with Gallows and Anderson, who are now on Raw after they got traded last week. And they're all in their OC shirts, and they're the club, they're back together. And they're the most dominant force on Monday Night Raw because they have the Universal Championship. And no one else does. When Adam Cole and the rest of the Undisputed Era come out, and he says, "Congrats, AJ, you got your wish, you got your friends here on Raw. But you like to brag about being the best faction here on Raw? Well, we're still here." And before we were rudely interrupted by Seth Rollins last week, I believe we were on the verge of finding out who was the strongest team here on Raw. So how about your little good brother friends here? They jump straight into the deep end. They get straight into action here on Monday Night Raw. They can take on my two of my best, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, as two of the hottest tag teams in the world, as part of two of the greatest units on Monday Night Raw. Duke it out to see who's stronger. And AJ's like, no, we're not going to do that, Cole. They've just got here. They need time to prepare. When Gallows would take the mic off AJ and he says, "Now we're not scared of you nerds. Nerds. Let's bring it on." So we kick off Raw, hot and heavy, quick little promo. Not a 20-minute one like last week. And we jump straight into some action as we change Kyle O'Reilly's gimmick. Because I went through and fixed the gimmicks of everybody who was like below 50 rating. Anyway, Gallows and Anderson, they scored the pinfall win over Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly when Fish takes the fall thanks to... Wait, no, it's just fair and square. Kyle O'Reilly scoring an 80. I didn't realise that they were there. I feel like since SummerSlam, ratings have gone up for people. I don't know why. They just seem like they have. Like, I'm pretty sure O'Reilly wasn't scoring an 80 beforehand. Nikki Bella's in her office with John Cena and Seth Rollins. She congratulates them on their tag team victory last week and explains what's going on with the Universal Championship situation. Because Adam Cole defeated John Cena at SummerSlam, it's pretty much necessary that Nikki rewards him with a title shot that he earned. Because beating John Cena is worthy of a title shot. But Seth Rollins also pinned the champion last... He didn't, did he? He pinned Adam Cole. Rollins scored the pinfall in the match last week. So it's only fair that he should also get a shot. But since John Cena was on that winning team, maybe he should also be in the title match. So she's going to throw John a bone as well. It's currently Seth Rollins, Adam Cole, and AJ Styles Unforgiven for the Universal title. But if John Cena can win his match in the main event, he gets in there as well. And it becomes a fatal four-way. And that's when Cena's like, "Cool, but who's my opponent?" And Nikki's like, "Well, it's Seth Rollins." And the two of them look at each other, they give each other a smile, they're like, "Yeah, bring it on, mate." So our main event tonight is John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a blockbuster main event here on Raw. Baron Corbin defeats Heath Slater. We get a test of strength weightlifting challenge between Otis of Heavy Machinery and Braun Strowman, the Monster Among Men. And it's pretty much your generic, standard weightlifting test of strength contest that they always do whenever they do these things. Braun would get a really high score, and then Otis would come close to breaking it, and as he's about to tie Braun, Babatunde would cheap shot him, and the weights would fall on him, and then Tucker would get involved. We'd get some very... Otis putting the little chalk on his hands, going, "Oh yeah, Tucky, chalk me, Tucky." And then as he's about to break Braun Strowman's jaw, because I believe Otis, he did at least at one point have the record for the highest bench press in the PC, so he could legitimately probably outbench Braun, but because Braun and Babatunde are the heels here, they're going to stop him before we can get there. And like Mark Henry did to Ryback, and among many other times, but that's the main one I can think of, the heel cheats to save himself embarrassment, and then we get a brawl between four big beefy boys. Lacey Evans wins a match over She doesn't. Candice LeRae wins a match over Lacey Evans to get her some momentum for her match coming up with Bianca Belair at Unforgiven. Bianca then cuts a promo on Candice saying how ever since NXT, they had their bouts in NXT, and even in NXT, Bianca was brought in as the hot young up-and-comer that everyone saw main event potential and they saw a superstar in, whereas Candice was just that girl from the indies that came in to make her husband happy and was a good hand to have around to help progress the next generation. And there's a reason why Candice kept getting looked over. It's because people like Bianca are just head and shoulders above, and they're superstars, whereas Candice is just an ordinary woman who will be thrown to the back of the line because she can't win the big one. Women's tag team match is up next. Ends after 4 minutes when Becky comes out and kicks ass. Beats everyone up. And then she grabs a mic and she says, "Nikki, I don't know if you're watching this. Last week, your two little cronies tried to take me out before the Fatal 5-Way match. And quite frankly, this is unacceptable. I should be in that match because, well, they were playing on my brain, and you need to bring these women to me because I want to kick their ass." And Nikki's like, "Well, I would love to bring them to you, Becky, but I don't know who they are because there's no vendetta against you. Just these women have obviously taken a disdain to you for some reason. I can't imagine why, because you're clearly so humble and you never run your mouth around here at all, ever. But it's not my doing. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, or if they're taking orders from anybody, if they're just doing it to try and make a name for themselves. But Becky, trust me, it's not my fault. And you lost fair and square in the Fatal 5-Way, so you won't be going to Unforgiven now. Get out of my ring, Becky. Get security to escort you away." So Becky wants answers. She's not going to get them because Nikki is refusing to acknowledge that. Well, she's saying she's not involved, but Becky believes she is. We get the in-ring debut of Flip Gordon. He takes on AR Fox, who is on a 6-month contract, so he can do jobs, because I like to bring in a couple of guys just to have on the roster to fill that role instead of having to hire local people, and they can improve and get pop and maybe pick up like a protege role. But yeah, Flip Gordon beats him, and he's attacked after the match by Tyler Breeze, because Flip upstaged him last week on his debut, and he takes selfies with Liam and Conti with Flip's unconscious body. We get the reverse of last week, where now this time Kairi and Neo are the ones to defeat the baddies in blue, and they put up a good showing yet again. We're giving them the Buddy Murphy push by giving them competitive matches against two of the top, in this case, teams in the division. Kira is improving in performance because she was the weak link. That's a good thing. Kona Reeves, promo, hyping himself up. After last week, he just sort of debuted out of the blue. So now we're going to give him a hype package to show off why he's the finest and how he enjoys the finer things in life. And he's got the finest glasses and the finest suits and the finest hair and the finest everything. And how now Monday Night Raw is the finest brand in all of sports entertainment. Charlie Caruso is with Johnny Gargano in the back, talking about his win over EC3 last week and how what's next for Johnny Gargano here. And Johnny says that he said last week that he wasn't going to stop. Losing the United States title was just a blip for him, and as long as the fans keep supporting Johnny wrestling, he can go as far as he wants. That's when Nakamura walks into frame, and he just puts his hand on his shoulder, gives him a little wink, and is like, "Keep my name out of your mouth," and he walks away. Because last week Gargano said that because he followed the Nakamura-Heyman segment, so Shinsuke's name was fresh on the mind, so he was sort of like, oh yeah, he cheated to beat Lesnar, I won't do that, I'm going to win fair and square. And Nakamura obviously is like, bitch, what I do is none of your business. Elias gets an 82B with Dolph Ziggler. He picks up a nice win. After the match, he's jumped from behind by Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn attacks him and grabs the guitar. He grabs a microphone. He's like, you want to sing songs about how you're going to be the next United States champion? Well, I'm going to make sure you can't sing any more songs. Cracks the guitar across Elias' back, smashing it into like a million pieces. And then Sami would do that dickhead heel thing where he takes the broken guitar and tries to strum on the broken guitar because he's a dickhead. Ali defeats EC3, reverse 450, 4054. Not really much else. Just a nice win for Ali. After last week, he got attacked, which he will address. When he grabs a mic, he says, I don't know what Killian Dane's problem is. I'm not sure if after last week, when he took out himself and Bray Wyatt, he's just looking for somebody he thinks is an easy target. But I'm not an easy target. I'm not going to back down from Killian Dane. I just beat Samoa Joe. I sent him away from Monday Night Raw. I can beat bigger guys. I'm not scared of you, Dane. That's when Nikki Cross would come out. And she'd be like, you say you're not afraid of Dane. We'll see. And that's a very ominous message from Nikki Cross, because Killian Dane sets his sights on Mustafa Ali for one reason or another. Maybe he just thinks he's an easy target. But Killian Dane, Nikki says, Ali, if he's not afraid of Dane right now, he will be.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Second Firefly Funhouse is basically the same as the real life Second Firefly Funhouse. And at this point, unlike real life, it would be getting a bit suspicious about the locations and whereabouts of Wolf, Dallas, and Sarah Logan. But it's just Bray Wyatt and his little puppets having a fun old time in the funhouse. Why? This thing again, I don't know what that means. I did ask last week, but that video hasn't technically gone up yet as I record this, so I don't even know if I got an answer. John Cena penalised for low morale. This will not go. I've literally paid John Cena about $1 million and he's still unhappy with me. So, yeah. And lack of psychology, apparently, in a Seth Rollins-John Cena match. Anyway, John Cena scores the win in 21-21 with an attitude adjustment. He defeats Seth Rollins and he cements his place in the Unforgiven Fatal 4-Way. Show ends with a 92A, same rating as the actual main event. That's pretty good. So that was a very nice episode of 69 of the TEW 16 Challenge Run. Monday Night Raw is definitely on the road to Unforgiven. Very hot and heavy road to Unforgiven it will be, and let's see what happens next week. I'll see you then.